I thought at our age life would slow down.
Not with everything we need to coordinate.
My overtime, his basketball league,
My podiatrist and her PT.
his colonoscopy.
Her allergist.
We need to be in 2 places at once, which is no problem, because the Iowa Clinic has over 40 specialties all in one place. So when our doctors want to coordinate our care, they just talk to each other.
Our doctors work together to figure out the best care for us, so we can go back to our busy lives, juggling our doctors, our careers.
Our grandchild.
Care how you want it. Visit iowaclinic.com.
What is going on? Happy Saturday, and welcome to a little pregame. Of course, we're always presented by our friends at the Iowa Clinic and the Iowa Clinic Men's Center. It's getting to be vasectomy season. Blum?
2 months away, roughly. I think that's the deadline.
Yeah, you're right, because the Big 12 tournament's it's officially the start of vasectomy.
Yeah, so that'd be March 9th. So if you want to put it on the calendar, vasectomy/Big 12 tournament season, it's the 9th of March.
We're both in our respective basements. The goal was to have Jared Stansberry on with us, who is in Allen Fieldhouse right now.
How do you get that gig? What do you got to do to get that gig?
He's got a great boss who's like, "Hey, you take all the good assignments. I'm going to sit here in my, in my basement."
I think I'd prefer this, because you see that back there's a Cody Road bottle. I'm ready to open.
Yeah, well, I've been to Allen enough times where you about need a Cody Road bottle.
Yeah, headache.
When you go to that. I honestly, I was joking on Twitter earlier, but I think it's haunted. I think Allen Fieldhouse is haunted.
With the Fog Allen himself, you think he's the one that's haunting? Is it
I don't know, but
Wilt Chamberlain?
There's demons there. They seep into the pores of the officials in the last 10 minutes of the game.
So the Phantom 3 at the Fog would imply spirits. Phantoms, ghosts, spirits. Yeah.
So you're right there with me, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder.
Somebody joked with me earlier. I don't think they were joking. They asked me how many points is the Fog worth, and I said you got to be at least 10 better than Kansas.
Look it up, everybody. There's the hotel across the street you've stayed at. It's called the O-Rad or the O-Reed or something. It legitimately is haunted.
I'm not shocked. I mean, and then the ghosts just
maneuver over there. Woo! Yep. Look, O-R-E-A-D. Look it up. It's on Google.
All right, let's look around. North Carolina's going to win. They're playing Louisville, who's terrible. We got TCU beating Kansas State. A lot of the more marquee games that impact Iowa State are later today. All the Big 12 games are.
So there's no question TCU is going to win, which means the winner of the Iowa State-Kansas game is alone in first place.
Great point. Great point. Yeah, it kind of just feels like these, I don't know. There's Big 12 games, it's like, so I feel like the casual fan who probably hasn't watched a lot of these games would have gone, oh, well, I'm picking Kansas State today. Like, no, just kind of go the opposite. So, like, West Virginia is probably going to beat Oklahoma State. Like, I don't know, right? Yeah. Like, it just feels – I honestly kind of feel that way about this game, too. It feels like Iowa State's getting a ton of respect now, which is great. But it's also Fog Allen. It's impossible to win there. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two things you look at. The history says, Kansas has won here 19 times out of 20. So it's hard. It's really hard. However, I think Iowa State, talent-wise, is playing as well as anybody. I mean, Iowa State didn't just beat Texas Tech. Iowa State demolished Texas Tech. And that same Tech, and you can't, again, comparing scores is a recipe for disaster. But Tech almost beat Kansas in Lubbock. It's different there. I get that. But I don't think Iowa State's out of its league as far as talent. So it comes down to C-Dub. Turn the ball over. Do that too much. I'm worried about Lipsy early. That's a different atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And then can Gabe and Caleb keep it up? If so, then Iowa State's got a chance for sure.
I agree. I do think Schoon's good to go. I've had a lot of people asking me.
I was going to ask you that.
I don't know for a fact, but I was in the facility for a little bit on Friday. It didn't seem like anybody was panicking. I really didn't poke too much around, but he was walking around after that game. If anything, like, he'll be on a minute thing, but, like, let's be honest, Jones has been playing more than him anyways.
Yeah, right? And then Trey. So here's the thing with Kansas this year: they don't have a McCormick or an Azubuike from the last 5 years. They don't even really have a Lightfoot that's big. I mean, they've got some talent, but Wilson and Adams and McCullough and Dick are all in that 6'6" to 6'9" region. It's not like they're throwing it to Azubuike, who's 7 foot 270. And so I think King would be fine today. I think Jones will be fine. Now, yeah, you need Schoen to play well, but it's not the end of the world where Azubuike is going to get 30 and 15 or something. I mean, McCormick had some monster games against Iowa State. So I think this is a different Kansas team. Super talented. They should be ranked second in the country, but it's not that old school Kansas where Iowa State just can't compete in the post. I think Iowa State's guys are just as good.
Yeah, Kansas State, who they get Kansas come. So I think both those games are Tuesday night. I don't know, but you've got Kansas State, Kansas, and then Iowa State, Texas, back to back this week.
We have Stu asked on Facebook here.
Okay.
And I have the official. So you get everybody ready?
Okay. Stu wants to know, is Hollywood Higgins calling the game today?
No. However, we have Kip Kissinger, Darren George, and Chance Moore.
So that's good officials.
I'm going to say B+ on the Bloom scale. We're bringing it back for today. I think that's the B+. Now, would I rather
what would have made them an A?
What?
What would have made them an A? Who's bringing that group down?
Darren George. Not a big fan.
Okay.
But they're fine. Like, you're not having I'm not going to say a name, but there are some people who you do not want in Allen Fieldhouse, and I don't think I would be too concerned about those three. And those are famous last words. I understand that.
How is Louisville so bad at basketball? Sorry, I've got my 3 TVs on. It's very disorienting here.
New coach.
Yeah, you shouldn't be this bad.
Yeah.
They're 2-15. They should not be that bad.
They've recruited great, but just goes to show talent doesn't mean everything.
Justin says it'll come down to rebounds, second chance points, the 3-point line. Can Iowa stay hot from 3?
And you're right, Justin. I'll say though, Iowa State won in Fort Worth, and that win's going to look awesome at the end of the year.
Yes.
And Iowa State didn't shoot well at all from 3. So that's the nice thing is there are multiple ways Iowa State can win. I do agree, though. Rebounds, second chance points. If you get killed on the glass, you got no chance. Zero chance.
And they're a lot better now than they were earlier in the year.
Yes.
Iowa State. I mean,
Trey's helped. Trey has very much helped in that area.
And that really, too, I think we're getting to the point, we're going to have to discuss this on the podcast, but when Jazz comes back, you almost have to reinvent yourself again because they're very different players, and you can't you're not just not going to play Jazz, right? Like, so
it's a good problem, but it is going to be interesting because Trey has been really, really good, and Jazz is different. Jazz adds some punch, but I think, is this weird to say? I think Gabe's been better now that he's starting. I remember he was coming off the bench there, but I think he's found his little role, and the guy's been playing 37 minutes a game. You can't keep him off the floor, so. Yeah, I mean, you want Jazz. Jazz helps, but it's also going to be an adjustment to work him back into the rotation. I just wonder,
too, if you leave the starters the same.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then you feel for like a Hassan Ward he just may not play much.
Yeah, but I don't think he was going to play much prior to the injury.
Fair.
I think he was the odd man out. Like, people were like, well, where's the minutes going to go? And I don't know. One thing that always just fascinates me about fans, and I do get it, but Iowa State's 4-0, and I fielded more questions on why isn't Hassan Ward playing more than the guys who are out there like with the 4-0 thing. And this happens every year. I think fans just kind of like cling to like the guy at the end of the bench and want to know why he's not out there. Eli King was getting that earlier in the year, but I just. You tell me if I'm missing something. Ward seems like the clear odd man out to me. I don't.
Well, yeah, who you taking off? I mean, you're at this point, you're not taking Lipsy, Kalsher, or Grill off the floor. Those guys have been too good. So there's only, there's a smart man once said there's only 200 minutes to go around. The math adds up somehow. So thankfully, I guess today, Jazz isn't playing today, by the way. It's going to be a couple more weeks, but it's a conversation ongoing.
Well, and on top of that, too, it's like it's great to be 4-0 without him. You don't have to rush him back.
Correct.
They're figuring it out.
I think from watching a lot of Big 12 the last 2 weeks, Iowa State is as physical as anybody this year. And I think Trey King's a credit to that. And Jones has been physical. So Iowa State's not going into this game scared from a physicality standpoint. Iowa State is some grown dudes. Jones is 24, Grill's 23, Kalsher's 23, Schoen's 24. These are old guys. And so I think that is really, really shown in Iowa State's maturity and will help them today. I don't know if Iowa State's going to win, but I think they won't be intimidated by that place.
No, I don't think that the intimidation thing. I think at some point you could run out of town, or it's just really hard to win on the Big 12 on the road in the Big 12.
And Iowa State, I say, would be due to regress to the mean from Tuesday night. They shot it so well, but then again, it's been pretty consistent for 2 weeks in a row. Iowa State's been good, so maybe Iowa State's just a lot better offensively.
Maybe. Jeffrey is, for people joining us late, we addressed this earlier in the show, but he's watching from Oregon. Hello. Any update on Oshun? I think he's playing. Jared Stansberry's there. So keep an eye on the Cyclone Fanatic Twitter feed. I think he's good to go. I don't know if he's 100%, but I do think he's good to go. Justin 2-0 on the road, Chris. Why not 3-0? Because it's hard to win in Allen Fieldhouse. Why do people get so offended when
I don't think he's offended. I think Justin's just an optimist. I appreciate that, Justin. You have picked against Iowa State like every game.
No, I haven't. That's not true. I picked them to beat Oklahoma, and I picked them to beat Texas Tech. I had them at 2-2 right now.
By the way, Iowa State
This is the problem when you do what I do and you just give opinions all the time. People only remember when you're wrong. They never hey, great pick. It's always hey, you moron.
It's more fun that way, though.
Yeah, whatever.
Iowa State's up to 16th in Ken Palm, so moved up a spot today.
Why?
I'm not
Who
sure.
lost?
I don't know. Who
That's
knows?
weird.
I'm not algorithms.
I don't know. We'll see.
Who's your pick that has to play well today? If you give me one side.
It's got to be Grill or Kalsher, just because you got to have some semblance, I think, of 3-point shooting. Will be my two guys. Lipsy, obviously, right? You can't go down there and have bad point guard play. But I would say, if Kalsher kind of feels like the guy who, if his shots are falling, he's really, really good. If his shots aren't falling, then his play can really drop off everywhere. So I would say him, if he keeps playing at the level that Iowa State is, because he's been the best player on the floor.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So if that's the case today, Iowa State has a real chance. What about you? Would he be your guy?
I like Chris, just it's on Chris Shipley pointed out that I agree. If Schoon's healthy, and it sounds like he is, I think he's the guy today. I think he's the best post on the floor when he's right. So I don't love Kansas's bigs. I think they're fine. I think Schoon has a Villanova type game. You called that game. Mm-hmm. I think they work him in early. I'm going 16-9 for Schoon today.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm high on some Schoon.
Okay. That you are right about Kansas though. They're not. It's not that type of a team.
Very good wings, not great posts.
Yeah, where you're terrified, and it's actually a much better matchup for Iowa State that way. So, all right, I'll go Kansas by 5. I do like Iowa State in the points. I don't like Iowa State getting blown out very often.
Yeah, the Iowa game has been the anomaly here. So, could that happen again? Sure, it could. But Iowa State's been playing good basketball, and they're not going to be outworked. They're not going to be out-toughed in this game. Iowa State's ready to play. They've been looking forward to this one a while. And the good news is, C-Dub, because of the 4-0 start, you're playing literally with house money.
Yeah,
you lose.
It really doesn't matter. You're right. If you win, it does.
If you win, it matters a lot. But if you lose, it's you're not going to move at all at the rankings. But if you win, I'm opening up that Cody Road back there.
If they win,
I'm coming over to your basement.
Yeah, it's on.
And then we're doing the post game.
Yes.
Live.
Oh wow. Okay.
We'll
do it live from the bar.
Do it live from the bar. That's right.
While we're watching Brock Purdy and
That's
the
right.
49ers.
Big game Brock. That's what they're calling him, right?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. And then we got the Vikings tomorrow, where I'm terrified that the Vikings are going to have to play the 49ers in the second round. Vikings have to actually win a game first before we get there, but I don't know what I'll do in that scenario.
So Iowa State on the big screen, Brock on the second screen today.
Brock's on the second screen, and then I'll have some other bet. I think Drake. I have some money on Drake. I think that they're a 3:00 game or something like that, but I'll find some way. But we've got the old Lucas Oil Chili Bowl going on tonight on Flow Racing. We've got the Wild West Shootout, so I got a bunch of dirt racing to watch with the NFL playoffs and Big 12 basketball tonight. So we got a really big evening coming up.
How about Sony Open in Hawaii? Can we, if I come over, can I get that on like
Yeah.
the 10 inch?
We'll do that on a
Okay.
TV for you. Yeah, we can do that. Just
Like-
because I like the looking at Hawaii. But
Yeah, same.
how do you watch golf in January? I just like
That's why
hard
I
enough
want to go
for
to
me
Hawaii.
sit and watch golf in June, let alone January. Like I have to have money on it. That's the only way I can pay attention.
Says the guy that mentioned the Chili Bowl as his.
Dude, have you watched the Chili Bowl? Do you even know what I'm talking about? It's
I
like
do
the
know
most
what you're.
exciting race of the year.
Unfortunately, I've known you now for 20 years. I do know what you're talking about. Good
Connor's
for you.
down there
Of
for all
course,
his
he
race
is.
day.
Of course he is.
All right, we appreciate all of you guys
Roll
watching.
clones. Roll clones.
We had a guy here. I want to give him a shout out. Where did it go? Where did it go? I lost it on my feed. Oh, here it is. Andy, Aaron is watching, and he's got what appears to be his daughter, a sweet-looking little girl, and they've got you and me up on their big screen
First monitor.
Watching-
All right.
watching pregame. So Aaron is his name. Shout out to you guys. Hey, sweetheart. I love little girls.
I've got mine watching Bubble Guppies upstairs. So
Are they going to come down and watch the game?
I
Or
think so. I think so. I don't know. I don't know if I'm in the Cody Road, if that'd be a good idea. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll see how it goes.
all right. Appreciate all you guys watching. Thanks to the Iowa Clinic, and we'll be back